Boris. I'm going to make you the presenter. Welcome to F.A.C.E. Looking forward to talking to you. We've done this before, only at a different place on FX Street. So
just one sec. Let me.
Sure.
Give me just one sec. I just want to put on charts for you guys. Actually, you know what? Maybe I want to put something else on. Forget the charts for just one sec. Let me see. I want to put on the show. Okay.
Okay.
Let me show you my screen. Just one sec. Here we go. All right. Hey, guys. How's everybody doing?
Hey, Boris. How are you? I love your commentary on CNBC. You know, you don't talk a lot about technical areas on CNBC, but you talk a lot about fundies, and, you know, that's part of trading too. And, you know, I'd like to start off with you know, one of the reasons why you're here. I'm not surprised Forest Park FX is also sponsoring this because they're always trying to help the retail trader. But it goes back to your article that you wrote that my robot is better than me.
Yeah, I wrote this article actually just almost at the end of last year. I write a weekly column, which you guys are welcome. It's free. You're welcome to sign up for it anytime you like. As a matter of fact, if you sign up for the Trader Fest, you'll automatically get the weekly column from me. And it's just my reflections on trading, life, everything else in general. I've been writing it for almost 10 years. I think I have like 1,000 columns. People have been dying to. They've been asking me to put it together into an ebook, and I think I probably will sometime this year when I have some time. But I wrote this column at the end of this year that said my robot trades better than me, and it was a very, in some ways, painful realization, you know, because for the longest time ever, I've always been developing systems, right? But they've always been semi-automatic. The systems that I've developed have always been just execution only. They're just there to execute the setup. It was my job to constantly watch the system and
okay, so you managed the trade after your system would give you a signal.
Yeah, exactly. It was always very discretionary. In other words, the system would pick a signal, and I would be discretionary about it and just try to use it for execution purposes and so on and so forth.
Right.
And then we've really been working all of 2018 on a trend-based framework. It's not a system. I really can't even call it a system. It's really it started out as a system, but it really became a framework. And eventually we got it to the point where it was, trading by itself. And I was trading against it. In other words, I was letting the robot trade automatically and then choosing myself which signals I would take, which I would not take. And I was getting eviscerated. I was destroyed by the robot because making proprietary judgments, I was subject to all the human frailties all of us are. Confirmation bias, immediacy bias, every psychological trick we all know that we're all subject for, no matter how smart you think you are. As a matter of fact, the greatest thing I think the robot taught me was just how not smart I am. I mean, it really taught me probably the best value in the market, which is to be humble. But as I started trading that, I realized, you know what? This is a much more intelligent way of doing business. And then all sorts of other things started to happen that just made it so much better. Like one of the great, if anybody who trades, all the time, and I was, by the way, and I still to this day, but not nowhere nearly as much so, a day trader, right? I was a guy who used to I was looking at 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart. I'd love to do 10, 20 trades a day. But the problem with that kind of approach is it's psychologically massively taxing without you even realizing it, how much of a psychological tax you have, because it requires instant and total focus 24 hours a day. So what happened was, as I was trading the robot obviously was taking trades all the way throughout while I was sleeping, while I was eating, while I was away from the desk. It was creating trade ideas without any pressure from me. I didn't have to feel the pressure of creating trade ideas on a day-to-day basis. As a result of that, I had enormous amount of time and psychological relief. And as a result of that, my vision of the market became much better. and we started to make sort of, selective but much better proprietary trades than the ones that that I basically was doing by myself. So really interesting.
Could that be because when you make a discretionary decision, your ego is involved, and if you don't have the pressure of always making those decisions, you can see the forest from the trees, like Forest Park FX.
You can, and I think the other thing that this satisfies, and that I think almost every one of us suffers from, is this. I wrote this actually. I think it was my last column. The single greatest weakness of every trader is boredom, right?
Yeah, hard to wait.
I guarantee you that if I did a autopsy of all your worst losers, of every loser that cost you half your account, I guarantee you this, because I've done this with so many traders, including, of course, myself. Almost every single huge losing trade was a result of a bored trade. You were bored, you took a trade, it went against you, and then you became emotionally invested in it. Now you're going to prove the market wrong, and now you're going to prove the market wrong, and now you're dead. And what was fascinating is that the robot took away the boredom, because the robots made its own trades. I didn't have to, constantly. I was already engaged in the market via the robot, so I could just simply passively, see where positions were, look around, and that relieved me from making stupid trades. I guess bored and stupid trades are pretty much synonymous. And everybody.
Did you code this robot? How did you come up with this robot?
Oh yeah, no, there's a guy in my room, in my chat room, who I've been working with for years, who's just a wonderful, wonderful human being out of Australia, and we collaborate, and he codes. You have to understand that when you say, "Did you code the robot?"
Build it.
Yeah, no. What I was going to say is that it's like writing a novel. There's easily 40 to 50 drafts,
Okay.
from your original idea, which is always idiotic, to your middle of the road idea, which is mildly, tolerable, to your ending idea, which is almost nothing like the one you started with. That's pretty much how the structure.
Work in progress. It evolves. You're always tweaking it, because when you say there's a possibility that the robot you have today with compressed FX volatility may not be as effective when huge FX volatility, like that bear raid. How did it react to that bear raid that we had on New Year's Eve, Boris?
It actually, well, it's interesting enough. So the thing about this, I'm just trying to extend this so everybody can see the titles here that we're going to be talking about. And actually, by the way, if you guys know Jamie Satel, he's so important that I gave him a whole other row. Basically, I couldn't fit him into the row, so he gets a full row here.
I thought it was Jamie Satley.
Yeah, whatever. His last name. I've known him for years, and I still can't pronounce his name properly.
Now you will. Satley.
I actually, Jamie actually, like when he was in New York, spent his first 3 months living with me because he needed a couch. So he and I go back a very long time.
Yeah. Brothers.
He's a great guy, wonderful family, and a really, really great market tactician. So I totally lost my train of thought. We're talking about the volatility. Yeah, the
bear raid on New Year's.
Yeah, there is no such thing as an algo that can work across all volatility regimes. Is the essence of what you do is understanding that certain volatility imprints are going to be negative for your position. Now, the thing that's interesting, the other thing that we've sort of discovered as we're running a lot of these algos, is that volatility, of course, is very different across time frames, right? So even if you have large volatility, the diversification by time frame. So we run this on lots of different time frames. We run on a 1 hour, on the 4 hour, on a daily, and the other great discovery, not discovery, this isn't anything new, but it really proves, I'll show it to you. I'll actually show it to you.
The longer the time frame, the more successful the algo, I'm just guessing.
Absolutely. There's zero doubt. As a matter of fact, let me just prove this to you. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find this. Just bear with me.
Okay, let me hook up the polygraph.
No, I don't. You don't need a polygraph. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Here it is.
So isn't that something that, all of our
Yeah.
philosophy about being macro long term is verified by machine?
Yeah, it's verified. This actually is great. This isn't the latest screenshot, but it's like from a day ago. But here's what I mean. You can see from the description, right? You can see from the description that the 1 hour barely make any money, right? The 4 hour make very decent money, and the dailies make all the money. That's the bottom line. Like if you look at the percent contribution to the P&L, 50% of 80% of the contribution, basically the 1 hour is just for your enjoyment. The 1 hour is just there to keep you from being bored. If you break even on the 1 hour, you're lucky. And that's just an unbelievably important realization to most traders. Most traders spend all their time on the wrong time frame and are guaranteed to. One of the greatest things about Jamie, I got his picture right over here, is that ever since I've known him, the guy has always been a guy who traded on the daily. He has always had like the patience of Job. I remember one time, like in the long days, he was long Aussie Kiwi for literally 40 days. And this was in the days when Aussie Kiwi just would not move. And it would just sat there. He just sat there. It didn't trigger his stops. He just sat in the trade. And then eventually the thing just broke out like a rocket. And it was a huge trade for him. And it was just, of course I ignored the lesson then, but it's a lesson that I'm really relearning in my old age because it's so important to see this. There's zero doubt here as to
how old are you now? You say you're in your old age? Huh?
I am
we share our birthday, same birthday.
Let's just put it this way. I've been getting my AARP card in the mail for much too long, The ultimate.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
But these are kind of things that are really interesting and important that we learned through algo trading, which makes it very, very useful to us. Or the lessons that I learned are hopefully going to be immeasurably more valuable to everybody else because these are truths that are in some ways universal. There really are. There's a million reasons for why the daily is more successful than the 4 hour and much more successful than the 1 hour. And a million times, a trillion times, a quadrillion times more successful than the 5 minute. I'll tell you. So one thing that I don't show you here is because it's just too embarrassing to show you. But so this was our model portfolio. This is our model portfolio. But I'll tell you the story because it just sort of learn from my mistakes. This is our model portfolio. So that's how it's supposed to be. Then of course, as usual, my day trading instincts were like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to put this on a 5 minute chart. I'm going to trade on my own account. I managed to destroy like 6% of my account in less than 24 hours, trading the exact same algo, the exact same framework, the exact same logic on the 5 minute chart. It's taken me a week and a half of just grinding one trade at a time trades I haven't quite yet broken even. I'm literally within 40 pips of breaking even from the idiocy of trading short term. But it's just, I just think it's interesting. It's fascinating to understand that. And, in the meantime, the model portfolio is of course cranking away. You can see, this is literally, guys, by the way, I haven't put any context behind this, but this is just since the new year. This is our model portfolio since the new year. So you can see it's performing quite well. And there's no guarantee it's going to perform just as well. And I want everybody that always you're going to have volatility, regime changes, and things going to go wrong. But if you stay on a longer term chart, if you have an intelligent framework, and if you have an algorithmic approach, your chances of success increase exponentially. That's really what my whole show is all about. It opened up this light bulb in my head. I realized there were so many traders that just didn't have the basic knowledge. There were two things I think most people are afraid of when they talk about algorithmic trading. Number one, they are afraid that it's very complicated when it's not. And number two, they're afraid that it's really hard to learn when it's not. I always say
it's just hard to let go.
And it's hard to let go, being a proprietary trader, right?
Yeah.
every one of those things we've tried to address in this show. I brought in Alejandra, who I worked with in the olden days. With Jamie and I used to work with her, and she runs a whole bunch of programmers for Justin, and they do nothing but code for you. The point is, you do not have to know a single thing about programming. All you have to do is have an intelligent, interesting idea for a system, or take somebody else's system and play around with it. The bottom line is, one of the things that I've also created, as everybody who comes into the Trader Fest, is I created a whole free MT4 course. I wonder if I can. No, let me see if I can just find it offline for you, and I'll show you what it looks like, so you guys can see. Let me see. Well, I'll find it in a second. But what I was going to say is, it's easy to learn this stuff. It's easy to learn this stuff because it's basically like learning how to run an app. If you can run Microsoft Office, if you can, learn Word, if you can learn Excel, that's the level of complexity you need to understand. It's just, setting up widgets. You don't have to learn any programming to be able to run algorithms 24 hours a day that have a lot of intelligence behind them, and that could be of, tremendous value to you.
Let me ask you this, Boris. You talked about Jamie as one of the presenters. What are the other presenters bringing to the table?
So thank you for asking that. So there's a lot of interesting people that I brought in there. Robbie, which of course everybody knows, is actually he's working on this whole new system that he's developed, which he calls high frequency trades for retail. And I specifically say it's not at all what you think it is. It's actually this very, very, really interesting multi-instrument portfolio management system that he's developed. I mean, Robbie's whole thing now is to trade very, very small size, lots and lots of different trades, and then manage the exits to a consistent profit. He's been very successful at doing that. It's a completely unique way of he flips a lot of trading concepts on their head by doing this kind of a system, because he doesn't care about. He only focuses on reward. He doesn't care about risk in many ways. But he controls risk in a way that's completely different than the way we're used to controlling risk. So that should be really interesting. He kicks off Sunday. I kick off Saturday, talking about this trend framework that we developed. I don't want to give away too much about it, but because I really want you guys at the show. But it's a really interesting framework. I mean, I'm going to be talking about basically this. How do we get to the point where we could make 1,200 pips since the beginning of the year in a trend framework? And it was a long journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you on all the stupid things we did before we finally came to an intelligent, interesting idea. Because I think it's really interesting to take you through the journey of system development and understand what works, what doesn't work, why it doesn't work, what you need to do, and how you could always improve things. Because hopefully you could refine it from that point on. Alejandra's going to tell you about how she can help you write any of these things without having to know programming. Scott is coming in because he's got a really interesting. Scott is a great systems developer, but he's got a very interesting system where he's going to show you a method that is just actually ridiculously simple, and especially for those of you who are more investment oriented, longer term oriented, that beats the S&P across every time frame you can imagine, which is really hard. I was shocked at how you could create very simple systems that can beat the S&P returns as long as you have the right logic and structure. So he's going to talk about that. Daniel, who's a PhD and about 1 million times smarter than all of us combined, is actually going to show you the key tricks of the trade to how to backtest well. I'm not going to go into.
Hey, Boris, when does Daniel graduate from high school?
I know, it's funny, right?
Really? Huh?
He was lying. He looks like he's 12, but he is actually, I think he's in his 30s. I'm not sure.
Wow. How blessed. Yeah, to look young like that. And then now Adam doesn't look as young anymore because now he's married with a few kids.
That's right. And
we know what that does to us.
I'll always put a few gray hairs on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Adam is going to, Adam, of course, is the founder of Forex Live, a good old friend. And he's been in the business for a very long time. So he's going to just sort of provide his perspective on how to trade, how news affects algorithmic trading, which, by the way, today, it's actually starting affecting mine. It's whipping me around because the dollar moves are just, all over the place today. The euro just completely reversed, so
Right.
the yen, everything just.
That was
just
one hell of a breakout over 115, huh?
Yeah, and now we're just eating dust
Yeah.
on this move, which is part of the game, and and Jamie is going to take you, and of course Jamie has like 60,000 followers on Twitter, so he's very very well known. He's a superb analyst of like longer term trends. So we're going to go through the charts, talk about what he sees as major ideas that develop. It's funny, James and I, like when I only put this together like about a couple of weeks ago, but this was Christmas time. We were like talking, and we were both looking at dollar CAD, right? So I'm just kind of like, this was interesting. I swear to God this is true because I'm happy to. I think I actually have the Twitter conversation about this. But we're talking about dollar CAD, right? And we're both saying, remember, dollar CAD is like right around here. This is Christmas time, right? 19. It was saying, we're saying, this 36, 37, that is massive resistance. And I think we both started looking at the weeklies, right? Yeah, we're looking right in this. And he goes, yeah, this is just setting itself up. He said, I'm going to start selling 36s, 37s because it is grossly overbought, and it's totally setting itself for a reversal. And as you can see, this was a hugely profitable call, and that's what he's all about. He's all about picking a few really good ideas during the year that could make you 500-600 pips on a turn. He's super great.
That's all you need.
Yeah, I mean, he's I remember when he was younger, he used to always say, and this is actually, I'll talk about this when I talk to you about the development of our system, because Jamie's whole point was every trend starts with a reversal. And that was a very, very interesting insight that he had. And you can see, like
that's kind of like Paul Tudor Jones. All the big money is made at the turns.
Right. All the big money is made at the turns. And so, if you got short 36, 37s, you had all, this is where the money is really made.
You had a good month.
Yeah, you had a great month. So so that's pretty much where we stand. Yeah, so that's where we're at.
All right, so for people that are watching live right now, Boris, and on the recording, can you show them how they go about registering for this event?
Sure. And Dale, I think Dale has you have the link, or maybe you could just, tweet, you could just send this link to everybody, but it's mt4traderfest.com, or you can go to mt4traderfest.com/home. Either way will get you there. And all you have to do is put in your name. This is actually my Yahoo address, but feel free to use your Yahoo address, which is my garbage address. It doesn't matter, so long as you actually check that address, because we're going to send you obviously the registration link, and then the whole show is going to be recorded, edited down to its core essence, and archived for free forever on our website. So if you are registered, even if you can't attend, if you're registered, once it's all done, which will be done by Monday, I will send you the full link to to the show, and so you'll be in great shape at that point. In addition to which, just let me see if I can find this. Hang on a second.
I also hear you're headlining the Money Show in New York in March, and both Steve Volge's flying in from Greece, and our own Joe Perry, who's on Bloomberg a lot, and Real Vision, are also going to be there presenting. Hope you guys have a chance to get together, have a cup of coffee or a cocktail together.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm being Match.com, FXMatch.com right now.
You're being FXMatch.com? That's very cool. I definitely will be there. I think I've been there for like the last 10 years or so, because we're in New York, so it's easy for us to come. And I'm actually also going to be in Orlando in February for the Money Show. So I'll be doing a show there. Here, I think I just found my link. Just one second. I'm gonna show this to you. So in addition to this, just for those of you guys, so I want to pacify your anxiety about learning MT4. If you've never learned MT4, this is a course that I'm going to send you this whole course for free. It's how to install it, chart setup, indicator setup, all that stuff. and there's my smiling little face. So I walk you through literally like you know nothing into the setup. Plus I archived about 21 execution tools, all of them free, for execution tools from buy, sell, and all the other kind of stuff that I also walk you through that I'll send you. So please come. You don't have to attend. Just register, and you're going to get a massive amount of really good information for free. So I want everybody at the show, if at all
Looks
possible.
like a great event, my trading warrior brother. I hope you have multitudes to take advantage of this, and really appreciate your effort to open people's eyes to what may be a better way for them, or an additional way for them to approach the markets and be able to walk away and live instead of being glued to a screen for the rest of their days. Because money's important, but time is your most important currency, and anything that could make you more time efficient, so you have it to do things like be with your family or take a vacation, I'm all for it. So much success with what you're trying to do. I tip my hat to you, my trading warrior brother.
Thank you very much. I'll just conclude by saying that, I was talking to somebody else, and I was saying that basically there's two ways you can trade. You can be a worker bee. You can just literally be like a guy on the production line stamping out trades. You're no different.
Oh, that's Forex Factory. See,
Right.
It's really a factory, so you get on an assembly line.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
You could be the manager of your own life, and then that helps you by doing that with algos, because the algo works for you and you manage the algos. Then you have much more higher level control of your trading life.
And you don't have to pay in Social Security for your robots that you employ, right? They're independent contractors.
That's a huge value. Yes, I forgot about that.
Thank you, Boris. Have a great event. Okay. And Joe and Steve are looking forward to meeting you in March at the Money Show. And, I really appreciate the relationship you and I have developed over the years. And you're definitely, I do turn the volume up when I see you on CNBC.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dale. I'll see you guys later.
All right, my bud. Okay, buddy. So that's a wrap for us, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Take advantage of our promo. And remember, most of all, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone on Monday. Adios.